But anyway, obviously not. Talking being more careful, Dipti is here with the papers, and she's starting with the story about Donald Trump. Dipti, this is allegations that he lied to the public about how deadly coronavirus is.
That's right, and he actually admitted to it on Wednesday while speaking to White House reporters. Those revelations came in a book by Washington Post writer Bob Woodward. He's conducted 18 interviews with Donald Trump over several months. In early February, Donald Trump had told Woodward that COVID-19 is a deadly virus. He said this at the time. At the time, he was telling the public that quite the opposite, that it was nothing to worry about. On Wednesday, he admitted that he did downplay the threat of the virus. He says because he didn't want to create a panic, he didn't want people to be frightened. The revelations, though, have outraged Trump critics, notably the Democrats, who accused Donald Trump of denying the threat that led to a false sense of public security and ever since the mounting cases of infection.
Some pretty sharp reactions in the press.
Yeah, that's right. A writer for the weekly news magazine The Week says Donald Trump's denial has major consequences. I quote, "How galling it must be for New Yorkers, where it's estimated that a quarter of them contracted the virus at the time that Donald Trump was telling the public it was not all that serious." The writer says the writer's reaction wasn't to wonder how it would or wouldn't help Biden or ponder the ethics of this Washington Post writer sitting on this information for 7 months, but it was just pure shock that Donald Trump could lie in such a way. There's an interesting opinion piece from Boston's NPR news station which argues that we shouldn't be shocked by Donald Trump's lies. We should be horrified that it won't matter. This story will rage for a few days, the writer says, as did the other stories like Donald Trump calling war veterans, quote, losers and suckers. I quote, "What matters isn't the reality, it's the fact that a rabid minority of U.S. citizens have become inoculated against it. That's why Donald Trump can lie without consequence."
Let's move to South Africa for this next story. They're mourning the death of the human rights advocate George Bizos. He passed away at the age of 92.
That's right, Bizos. He made his name defending Nelson Mandela and other key figures of the anti-apartheid movement. He was instrumental in negotiating Mandela's release. The South African Times tells us that Bizos was born in Greece. He moved to South Africa as a refugee with his father. He was passionate also about education. He actually founded a school for universal education and diverse communities in South Africa. He was a human rights advocate with courage and integrity. That's how the Times puts it, while another South African paper, The Herald, simply says on its front page, "Rest in peace." One foundation director called Bizos a towering giant in so many facets of the liberation struggle.
Yes, sad loss. Now let's talk about this lovely story that went viral in Ireland this week. It started off with a picture of a pensioner eating a meal in a pub by himself.
And it was all in that picture. John Joe Quinn was sitting in a Galway pub. He was eating a meal and drinking a pint of Guinness with a little alarm clock by his side. Now, the picture is, there you see it. For many people, it epitomized Irish people's social isolation because of the pandemic. Others actually used the picture to attack the government's strict rules about time limits in pubs. For instance, they can only spend an hour and 45 minutes currently. The Irish Independent spoke to the pensioner in question, who actually said he had no idea he's famous. He also defended the stringent isolation rules, saying it's all in the matter of public health, and that's really important. And he said that the alarm clock was not so much to time his meal, but because he wanted to get home in time for the evening news, and he never wears a watch. Nonetheless, it hasn't stopped people from wanting to send the gentleman, for instance, a barrel of Guinness. Nice. Not a pint, but a barrel.
Barrel. Nice.
Classy as he is, he's denied any aid and just asked people to take care of each other.
Oh, very sweet. Now then, we've got a story for you finally from Dipti about snogging. It's actually about soap operas. They faced, of course, many challenges about how to maintain, intimacy in their scenes without compromising health restrictions. And it seems that some have found some pretty innovating solutions.
Yeah, they're quite hilarious as well and ridiculous. Kissing and touching, of course, are vital parts of any good soap opera like EastEnders or Neighbours or The Bold and the Beautiful. So how do you reconcile intimacy with social distancing? Well, show producers have found some ways around it. On The Bold and the Beautiful, actors have been kissing mannequins that are shot from behind, so it looks like the person that the actor should be kissing. There's actually a video of it, and the dead giveaways that the mannequin doesn't react. So it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
On the Aussie soap Neighbours, actors are kissing mirrors, and then in post-prod they edit in the person who they should be kissing.
Right.
Finally, on EastEnders, the British soap, they actually have gone a step more. Producers are actually bringing in the real-life partners of actors and actresses who they kiss, dressed up as the character that they should be kissing.
Okay, that's interesting. So does that mean then that they all look like the character, the partners?
Yes.
Okay. Slightly odd, I think. But anyway, Dipti with the papers on France 24. Thanks. Next half hour, we're going to be reporting